All right, this is file 24-3359FC. It's the State of Michigan versus Kuymell Copeland. Are you Kuymell Copeland, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Copeland appears before the court via Zoom from the Department of Corrections. Ms. Robinson is present in the courtroom representing him today. Mr. Hupakar is here on behalf of the people of the State of Michigan. Date and time scheduled for a hearing on a motion filed by the defendant to compel plaintiff to produce a firearm expert declaration and the underlying basis of the opinion pursuant to Michigan Court Rule 6.201A3. Court has read the motion. Ms. Robinson, it's your motion. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I don't think I have much to add to the motion, Your Honor, other than just to explain that at the point that we are in this case, we requested the 180-day waiver for Mr. Copeland to secure a firearm expert, which we do have present here on Zoom, Mr. Lukey. He needs information that we don't have in our hand to give him, which is basically the actual information through a declaration or some kind of memorandum of what is going to be testified to by the firearms expert, by the Michigan State Police. I understand that Mr. Hupakar has made efforts towards the Michigan State Police, and it sounds like this is a history with their office, that they generate lab reports of the evidence that they have given, but no findings of evidentiary background for their findings, how they found it, what kind of methods or processes they had to go to come to their conclusion. Mr. Lukey is here to kind of explain that more thoroughly than I can, but I believe that's information that Mr. Hupakar has indicated to me he can't get from the Michigan State Police. Now, I don't understand it. I don't know if his office can hire outside experts to provide that kind of information other than Michigan State Police. However, Your Honor, it's the information our expert needs to proceed, and the very reason why we have asked for the adjournment, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Hupakar.
Well, Judge, the Michigan State Police Crime Lab produces reports that are in compliance with state and federal standards for the standard report that they produce related to firearms. They've done it in every firearms-related case throughout this court's knowledge, and you've dealt with these same laboratory reports going back as long as I can remember. Now, there are other worksheets and data that's gathered. That information is available to defense, but asking the experts that go through a federal accreditation process to now produce a different type of report that is outside of what is the standardized process that they have to follow as a scientific laboratory is not something that is, quite frankly, permitted through the court rule. The court rule suggests that that a summary of their report and their findings be generated. That's been turned over. Essentially, if the court goes through this analysis and follows up with what defense request is, then defense can subsequently ask essentially for new reports to be generated throughout time for any potential additional questions they have regarding firearms or firearms examination or DNA examination, asking for materials to be retested, things like that. We have the firearms, or we have the shell casings related to this. We have firearms that are seized related to this. If Mr. Lukey wants any of those to be able to conduct his own testing process, he's certainly able to do so. If he would like to come to his own conclusions, if he would like to directly inquire of the Michigan State Police Crime Lab, we've made that opportunity available. I personally tried to reach out to Mr. Lukey. It sounds like we didn't connect. I got the number from Ms. Robinson so that I could hopefully put the parties together. It's not that the people don't want the two parties to be able to communicate with each other. I'm well familiar with Mr. Lukey's work in his previous career. We have no problem with the two parties communicating and discussing how they came to the conclusion. But asking a nationally accredited crime lab to now generate a report that is not part of their standardized process doesn't fall within the court. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Robinson, I did see an email attached to I think it's your motion where Mr. Hupakar sent an email summarizing what the testimony could be. And what you're asking is you need more information than what was contained in that summary?
Your Honor, I have the email in front of me. Mr. Hoopercar provided what he anticipates asking from the expert, and then
Okay.
anticipates what they may say,
Okay,
not what they have said they're going to say.
okay,
But prior to this is our, kind of our second step in our experts and our generating our reports, that discussions me and Mr. Hoopercar have had. There's phone download information that'll come out in this case as well. And we have hired our own phone expert as well. Mr. Hoopercar asked maybe a year ago for our expert to provide that kind of information to him of what our expert would provide, and we did so. I think it's 6 to 7 pages with his own declaration of what he'll testify to, how we come to that conclusion. He signed it, he sent it over to Mr. Hoopercar. I asked for the exact same thing back. He says, ours don't do it. Ours don't do it. And so for us to be in a position now to give everything that we have on this side, or potentially have our expert excluded, we're trying our best to follow the court rules for the state, and I know that he is not personally interfering in this process. It just seems like it's a headache for the Michigan State Police. They're some national organization, and we don't generally do this. The court rule is clear, Your Honor. It can't just be a report that you push print that this bullet came out of this gun, maybe it did, I don't know. It has to be how you found it. How, and yes, our expert does intend to actually come and physically put eyes and hands on the information and the evidence that the state has. He does. But he says he also needs a report of what they have. He's not locally with this right now, but he can get that information in advance. Mr. Lukey, I think, was just hired maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 days after our hearing. We got on this as soon as we knew that we needed a firearm expert, and we're trying to do this expeditiously for the court to get this on, keep this on the docket, keep moving. If they don't normally do it and it's not their standard, that's not the court rule. They're required to do it. And just because they have done something a certain way for so many years doesn't mean that they meet the court rule. Some information that they printed before maybe have met some other defense counsel standard or expert standards. It isn't meeting our experts. And I'm asking, Your Honor, that you at least or question Mr. Lukey about what exactly he needs. And regardless of what Mr. Hoopercar intends to question, doesn't mean what their expert is going to actually testify to when he or she is here at trial.
okay. The proposed the state's expert is Ms. St. Clair, is that correct, Mr. Hoopercar?
It's actually Ashley Vogel, Judge.
Oh, okay,
And that correction was made to Ms. Robinson.
all right. Is it VOGEL?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. I'm just thinking sometimes the easiest way to do this is have Mr. Lutke get a hold of Ms. Vogel. And I mean, I found in cases where the two experts just talk and say, you know, I mean, they're both experts in the field, they both know the same lingo, they both, you know those things, just to have them, before we get any further, just, can they set up a conversation, say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, and so Ms. Robinson's expert can just talk and say, hey, how'd you get there, and does that make sense, Mr. Hoopercar? Is that
Yes,
something
Judge,
that
and
can
that's what
happen?
me and Ms. Robinson, I think, both anticipated that, and we're trying to facilitate that, but obviously due to timeline restrictions,
Yeah,
ultimately, we ended up here. I think that was the anticipation when I asked for Mr. Lukey's number. I did speak with Ashley Vogel, who's now the director of the State Police Crime Lab, and she also welcomed it and said, look, has he gone through all my worksheets? Has he got all of the rest of the information? We said, yeah, everything that you've turned over to us has been turned over to them. And she said, well, if he needs to call me, it's fine.
okay. Mr. Lukey, would that be something that would be helpful to you? Because this is what I'm anticipating, okay? I asked Mr. Lukey what he needs. I got to understand what he's talking about. And then I got, so to me, it's like, he knows how to talk shop with his colleague, okay? In the field, at least, right? So the way I look at it, we cut through the chase, have these two people talk to each other, and that way, then Mr. Lukey can go talk to Ms. Robinson and say, hey, this is what their basis is going to be. This is how they found it. This is what I'm going to do. I mean, it just makes more sense than that. Does that make sense to you, Mr. Lukey?
Yes, Your Honor. I know Ashley Vogel from past career, so that's not a problem communicating with her.
Okay, all right. So let's try that first. Let's try the parties to set that up. Now, obviously, I think, and I think Mr. Lukey knows that being in that previous field that her time is valuable, so I don't think he's going to waste it, so.
I don't believe so
Yeah,
either, Judge.
so. I think this is going to be fine. I think they're going to get along fine. But the other thing is, I mean, worst case scenario, if we really got to do it, I mean, I suppose the court could hold a Daubert hearing and Ms. Robinson could question the expert and basis of opinion, so that way the court can make sure it's not, it's a valid opinion. That's the other thing I guess we could do. I mean, but I think it's kind of an extreme for what we're doing here. So why don't we try this first and try to get that accomplished in the next couple of weeks? Does that make sense, Ms. Robinson?
Sure, Judge, whatever we can do to help him do his job.
Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Upikar, does that make
Yeah,
sense?
I have no objection, Judge, and I think we were both anticipating trying to facilitate that.
All right. So, Mr. Lucky, you any vacations coming up? I don't want to speak for your time, but,
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I have an overseas trip, leaving in about 10 days.
okay, so let's,
I'll be good. So if we can do it in early September, that would be wonderful.
Judge, if I may.
yeah.
Mr. Lukey, I don't know how much time you need to discuss these matters with Ms. Vogel. If it's possible, I'm gonna send her an email right now and anticipate a phone call from you. You know, obviously, she's also busy with the lab, and maybe she's out at a training right now, and it's impossible to do, but obviously, if you're able to receive the information that you need to prior to your departure, obviously, we won't convene back till after you return, but at least to get the ball rolling, I will send an email right now to her to anticipate a call from you, and maybe that'll at least get the documents requested that is it documents you're looking for, or a conversation?
What I'm looking for is how they come to the conclusion. I have no problem with the official lab paperwork, where they analyze the bullet and the casings. My issue is where they try to identify it and say this is consistent with being what they call a ghost gun.
Okay.
You can't do it that way. So
Okay.
that's my contention with what's in this email.
Okay.
Okay. So what, Mr. Luck, I think what he's, is there any way you can just touch base with her in the next 10 days before you leave? I mean, obviously you gotta pack and all that stuff, just maybe,
Yes, Your Honor.
okay, all right, that's
I'll
what
do
we're
that.
hoping. Obviously, I don't wanna delay vacation, but no, you're, just see if you can touch base and maybe set something up, or maybe your questions get answered. And then you know exactly specifically what you're looking for, from her. So, and obviously you can let Ms. Robinson know if there's resistance and cooperation, but I got a feeling this will probably work itself out, so.
Brian, well, Mr. Lukey, one more question. What is the time frame that you need to personally get in touch with the state police to look at the evidence directly?
I can work on that, if not later today, first part of next week. You know, it depends on how the schedules go, but I believe they're in Walker, and I'm in Grand Rapids, so it's not an issue if I need to go over there. But I just have concerns about their conclusion of what gun they think was used. It's,
Okay.
And if possible, Judge, we're just asking if the court would allow him just to stay on Zoom for a quick second. It looks like Mr. Rubicard is actually getting in touch with someone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Mr. Luck, why don't we just put him in the waiting room, or?
Yeah, you want to just stay on.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Luck, I appreciate it. Just follow up with Ms. Robinson if you need anything else, okay?
all right, am I dismissed then, Your Honor?
Do you,
If you could just stay on for 1 second. I'll talk to him in a second here.
yeah, hold.
As soon as we're done, I'll talk to him in a minute.
Oh, you're gonna, okay. You wanna go off the record, then you can,
No, I'm gonna break
you're gonna call him, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna
break out.
Zoom.
Oh, you're gonna, okay, breakout room. All right, Mr. Hoopergar's gonna, do you wanna go in with Ms. Robinson?
Yeah, I'll go with Mr.
All right, Ms. Robinson and Mr. Hoopergar are gonna, we're gonna put you in a breakout room with them so they can talk to you.
Okay,
All right, thank you, Mr. Luck. Have a good weekend.
thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Copeland, you're all set, sir. Obviously, Mr. Robinson will be in contact with you, okay?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Thank you, Judge.
So, did Mr. Stokes, is he in jail?